Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the match between the Sharks and the Bulls in the URC. Now, we're a little bit delayed due to the fact that we just finished the game between South Africa and Fiji in the sevens, but we covered the last South African derby taking place between the Stormers and the Lions. I hope this game is going to be as close, because if it is, it's going to be a last-minute thriller. But we're currently 3 minutes into this contest. The Bulls have got themselves the line-out throw with Johan Grubela. It's going to be well claimed. We're going to pick up exactly from where we left off for that Stormers versus Lions game. Werner Kok taking the catch inside of his 22. Decides against calling the mark. A little bit risky for him there. Could have easily been a little bit of a pressure reliever, I guess you could say. But nice run forward from Vincent Kok. Now getting into the breakdown with David Kriel, but he's given away the penalty. I wish you are spinning today, but we appreciate the energy, says Denzel there. And yeah, I think it's just from going from stream to stream to stream, you always end up just being in full-on awake mode, if that makes sense. Like, it's currently 2:15 a.m. here in New Zealand, but you wouldn't think it from how wide awake I feel. But then that could also be sleep deprivation. Maybe I'm overtired in that regard. But currently the Sharks using a nice kick downfield from Sia Masuku. Now we'll give themselves the line-out throw. And Caitlin has got these Sharks emojis there. Were you here at the very start, Caitlin, when we were supposed to go live? I do apologise for missing the first couple minutes of the stream. We were still doing the Blitzbox game, which of course did not go well for the Blitzbox. Unfortunately, they have lost all three of their games in the pool of Madrid. You have a busy day at the office. We certainly do. Like I mentioned, after this game is finished, we're going to be sleeping for about 4 hours. Then we've got a family lunch that we're going to be going to. And then all throughout the night tomorrow, I am also covering the sevens on the channel as well. Stormers fan, but hoping the Sharks win this game, says Denzel. But we are just about to get into this line-out for Bongi Umbanambi, one of the few Springboks who have stayed in the starting lineup. Worth the wait, says Caitlin. Although you don't know how the Sharks are going to go yet. I feel like depending on the result might depend on whether or not it was worth the wait completely. But Vincent Tachuka, nice attacking run, tackled by Elric Lowe. Masuku just firing forwards at the line. Of course, he is probably one of the front runners for the opportunity at 10 for the Springboks in that game up against Wales. Now, Oxney attack and run there, and he has made quite a few metres in the process with a carry like that. Out there, backline here for Pepsi Buthelezi. It's in a good fend on Papier. And agree, don't want to face Bulls at home so early in the finals, says bystander. Now Vincent Kok. Moving forward again here, Cameron Wright goes across the Masuku, rush defence. Still managing to find the offload there, Vincent Tachuka. That is not an easy one to do. You're not streaming Ireland versus New Zealand. We are not, but we will keep you updated in terms of the score in that game, as well as the other games that are taking place for the URC. But it is just due to the overlap. Like, this game initially was going to be taking place at a different time to the sevens. Like, we were going to be able to go back-to-back, no worries at all. But, yeah, got a little bit close near the end. Now, another run from Vincent Kok. And the ball is still there for the Sharks. I think he was trying to get the penalty there. Cameron Wright kicked him behind from Masuku. Does manage to find touch, and the Bulls will now be inside of their 22. And thanks, keep us updated. So, yeah, currently at the moment between the two sides, it is 5-0 for New Zealand. They have actually managed to score themselves the early try there. Which, of course, is what the Sharks would love to be able to do in this contest. They are up against the Bulls side that have gone close, I would argue, to full strength in this matchup, and I believe that is exactly what they needed to do. Yes, you can rest players, but you also still have a chance of getting the top spot in the overall standings. So if they win this game with a bonus point, the Bulls will receive that. The Sharks can be the team that caused the upset, though. Currently 10-0 now for New Zealand in their game up against the Irish in the sevens as well. But now, Mako van Staden doesn't have the headgear on this matchup. And that's going to be another penalty going the way of the Bulls. That is for the Sharks being offside. They can't afford to be giving away a whole heap of penalties here early on in the match, or else later on you end up with your yellows and your red cards. We saw a couple cards in that last contest between the Lions and the Stormers. A yellow card for Marius Lowe for pushing a player, and then Angelo Davids, of course, getting that red card for the high shot on Noham. But that is a massive kick, and that has gone way too far for the Bulls. They're going to have to go right back to where it was kicked from, which is way down the field. I would say probably about 70 or so meters. And also biggest game today will be Cardiff versus Ospreys. Stranger things have happened. Yeah, so pretty much the match for the Ospreys, if they win that one with a bonus point away from home, they will make it through to the quarterfinals. If not, though, the Lions will be the side in the quarterfinals who make their way through. So there's a lot on the line. We could see three South African sides make their way through to the URC quarters, which I do believe is the most likely occurrence that can happen. And early morning, keeping up with 2 games. Give that man a Red Bull, says Caitlin. Would you believe me if I said I've never had a Red Bull? I don't know why I've never had one. To be fair, I'm normally hectic enough as it is that if I had a Red Bull, I'd probably be bouncing off the walls. That's a beautiful inside ball from Masuku. A little flick out the back door from Keita, but then it's knocked on by Ethan Hooker. So now, scrum beat again for the Bulls. We're going to see quite a scrappy start to this contest by the looks of it. Oops, sorry. I just looked at the table. We need the Bulls to win and Munster to win, says a bystander there. Yeah, Ethan Hooker just making the slight mistake there. Him and Francois Fenta, I'll be honest, not a midfield combination I'm completely sold on yet. Feel like maybe they're too similar in the way that they play and perhaps they need one or the other. Munster loss. I give him a brandy coffee, says Rian. And there it's sugary gasoline and a staple part of my diet. But you're not missing out. Says Caitlin there. See, I don't really have a lot of caffeine, so that's probably my problem. If I had one, I'd probably just be awake for, I was going to say 15 hours, but that's what we do on the weekends anyway, so I feel like 25 hours might be the goal. I still remember the day that after a long weekend of streaming, I went to sleep, and that was the one time I didn't set my alarm, and I slept for about 23 hours. So ever since then, I've made sure to set my alarm, but I feel like that would be how much energy I get from a Red Bull, like 24 hours worth of it. That's going to be kicked downfield from Villy LaRue on the halfway line now for Apelele Fassi. Big shot coming in on him by Ruan Nokia. And got to listen out for the cheering at the Bricks MK Sharks Stadium. Says, cool story, bro. Look at this stadium and picture yourself there. How's the tour fund looking? The tour fund is empty, to be honest. We haven't actually started one as of yet. That's a nice pick and go from Vincent Tachuka. Tackle well by Kutli Arnson. Now Vinchok back across to Umbanambi. Masuku gets it away to Francois Fenta. Ethan Hooker, quick hands. Going off to James Fenta. He lives so close, says Denzel. At the moment, the Bulls are certainly being tested on their defensive efforts throughout this game. Umbanambi almost ate the ball to the side of the head. Luckily for him, though, the ball did end up missing him. Big driving tackle made by Kutli Arnse. He's already put in some big hits throughout this matchup. Cameron Wright going away to the right. All right again. And Pepsi Buthelezi is in touch. Just runs out of space to work with. What channel? I think someone said 211. I believe I'll subscribe to your tour fund. Says Arthur Harrison. And there as well. Pepsi Buthelezi, 58 appearances for that man, none of which have been too shabby whatsoever. Always right in the hunt for a game. And always looking to play his best rugby. Oh, we will go like that. And like that. There we go. At the moment in the odds, I should mention, ladies and gentlemen, the way that it sits, the Bulls are, of course, favourites. Even though the Sharks are at home, they still feel like the win will go the way of their away side. Sorry, Lions missed out. But they haven't yet. The Lions are still inside of the top 8. If Ospreys get an away win up against Cardiff and get a bonus point, that is the only way that the Lions cannot be in the top 8. The only problem for the Lions, though, is they will be facing the top qualifier, which there is a slight chance that it could be the Bulls, depending on the way that the other results go. Last 20 minutes is going to hurt for a few Sharks players. Been a big week, says Rian there. And good day, how are you, says Marcel. Doing very well, Marcel. Hopefully you are having a great day, great weekend so far with all the rugby that is on. Always forget to hit the like button. Bad habit, says Arthur. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel. Johan Goosen taking it under the high ball. 40 metres out from the line at the moment here for the Bulls. Villy LaRue going across there. Kicked him behind from Foster. Now another step there. Fussy taken down on the halfway line, gets his offload away to Francois Fenter. Oh, and Maka van Staden gives away the penalty. He got set up by the ref there. The ref said you're allowed to go for it, so he did, and then he got penalised for it. But currently in that game of the sevens, taking place between New Zealand and Ireland, it is 17 points to 7, ladies and gentlemen. And what was the score for the Lions game? In the end, the Stormers won that game 29 points to 24. So the Stormers got all the points available, 5. Lions still got 1 point though, which has put them into the top 8. So there is still a chance that the Lions can go through to the next stage. It's just going to be a tricky one for them. And Bulls by 20, I think, says Brian there. And also New Zealand would have trouble occupying South Africa because it's a pretty big country. Says, cool story, bro. You're talking like if someone from New Zealand went on a holiday, I assume? Like, I'm from a small town, so even when I go to any sort of city or town that's bigger than ours, I get lost. Every time. Terrible with directions. Masuku going to be lining up this kick. This is from very far out as well that he is attempting this one, but his kicking accuracy has been immense throughout the last little while. Is that going to jinx him, though? He has missed. It's away to the right-hand side, and the score will remain at 0-0 between these two sides. Munster might lose tonight, then it's a good thing, says Marcel. Although ideally, I don't think we want to see South African sides playing each other. I think we want to see them versing Northern Hemisphere sides, just to, get a feel for how they actually match up stylistically. Of course, we've seen it all throughout the season, but in playoff rugby, it's always a different beast. We saw normally the Bulls and the Stormers, they've had some good results in playoff games in the URC before. Perhaps could be the same this year. Looks like maybe the Bulls were closing that gap at line-out time just a little bit there. Ball's going to be thrown in, nicely taken by Gurbrand Grubela. Want to get this rolling maul, marching forward by the looks of it. Umbanumbi hanging on to this one at the back. Now we love playing the Northern Mutants, says Gareth. Cameron Wright. What does he decide to do here? Looks like he's just going to hang on to it. This will almost be told to use it. Referee says use it once. And I are we hoping wins? I mean, the Bulls, I think, is a lot of people's side who they want to win here, mainly because they can gain something from winning this game, whereas the Sharks winning it is only really for pride/bragging rights. Whereas if the Bulls win it, there is a chance that they could actually be top of the table at the end of this round of the URC. Only the third year South African play in European club competitions. That is true. First year was won by the Stormers. Second year was won by Munster, but the runner-up was the Stormers. And then this year is the third. Seems like we might, tell you what, that is a mistake and a half there. I was doing the calculations on my fingers going like this, and Masuku has scored a try between the posts. Mistake made by the Bulls. Massive one too. The fact that they were so close to their try line and just a miscommunication, I believe it was. We're going to get to see a replay here, but Sia Masuku, he doesn't score too many tries. He won't score too many easier than that. But the line-out throw over the top, then it hits the leg. The Bulls had the ball and they've thrown it from their back when Masuku just makes his way through. You're saying the words, but dressed like a Shark supporter. Am I? I mean, I've got Everlast on my shirt. Oh, no, you're right. I just saw that. The white and black. And loud cheering here. And, oh, wow, after, say, 10 years, whom would dominate, says Ritsima. It's a very hard one to tell. And that kick has gone over from Masuku. Converts his own try, and that is going to make the score now 7 points to 0 in favour of the underdogs. On these clouds, ain't nobody venturing out. Not bad for a third world country, says Ritsima. And how full is the stadium? It's looking pretty full. Of course, this will be possibly the last South African derby that we get to see of the whole URC competition. Johan Goosen did not look impressed with the kick that he's done there. And Masuku will be pretty impressed with the kick he has returned down to the halfway line now. Currently, New Zealand versus Ireland, it is 17 points to 12 in favour of New Zealand during the second half. Looks like it's going to be a close finish between those two sides, though. Now, Johan Grobela getting ready to throw this one in. And also, we'll take Bulls by 1 with a bonus point, says Arthur. And yeah, I mean, that game between the Stormers and the Lions was a very close one, going down to the wire in that fixture. Looks like now they are looking to get this rolling maul moving forward here. Now, Ambrose Papier going for the kick and behind. Kutli Arnsa chasing after it and well taken by Vernachok. Tracks back and takes the mark. This time, South Africa is one of the great third world countries. If the Sharks can win this, it will even be bigger in the eyes of the Sharks fans than the Challenge Cup, says Brian. Now going across to Cameron Hanukom. Runs forward with a bit of steam going. At the moment, that was close to the turnover for Gerbrand Grobbelaar. And that's going to be the knock-on from the Bulls. Another opportunity here for the Sharks. Here comes Pepsi Buthelezi. We saw him score an electric try in that Challenge Cup contest. Now, Cameron Wright going to the short side. Very close to the touchline for Ethan Hooker. And they've got the advantage again now, the Sharks. Just keeps coming for them. Masuku going off now. Nice stepping from Francois Fenta. Almost through, but he's dragged down. Gets a pop pass up to Bongi Umbanambi as they moved only 32 metres out from the line here for the Sharks. Get past from Masuku. Now Vincent to Shuka. Great running from him. Places the ball rather than looking for the offload. And 100% says Caitlin Miller there. South Africa knows how to spoil it for other South African teams. Says cool story, bro. And there's a knock on there this time coming from the Sharks. She mentioned Scarlets and Dragons currently sitting 3-all, although that game does not have any significance in terms of the overall standings for the top 8. Of course, both sides want to still get themselves their win, of course. Currently in that game between New Zealand and Ireland, it is sitting 17 points to 12. Currently in favour of New Zealand, but Ireland managing to make a little bit of a fight back throughout the second half when they were down by 17 points to 7 at half-time. Already 19 minutes into this game, it has been absolutely flying by, which is a lot of fun, but also kind of sad because that means we're only about maybe an hour and 30 or hour 30 might be a bit generous, but yeah, around an hour 30 or so away from the end of the stream, ladies and gentlemen. They are just showing the way that the table sits currently. The Bulls, if they can get themselves a bonus point win here, they would move up to first. That would be pretty massive for them. The only side that can get ahead of them in that case would be Munster. Now the ball is fed in for Ambrose Papier, and the penalty goes the way of the Bulls. Two scrums absolutely massive in their front rows. The Sharks, though, having an all-Springbok front row getting penalised there. That is a massive bonus for them. Sasha Feinberg Zulu needs to watch out. And Masuku and Nohamba are looking good, although Nohamba might actually be concussed now from the shot that he took from Angelo Davids. I'm just counting down to when he can pass out. The brief pass out, I should mention, before we end up waking up again and doing it all again for the last day of the Sevens. Although I should also mention that there will probably... I forgot what I was going to say halfway through that sentence. I was going to say there will probably be about 15 Seven streams tomorrow, ladies and gents. So if you are keen on the Sevens, be sure to keep your eye out because there will be a lot. There aren't any URC games that are taking place tomorrow, but by then we will know the quarterfinalists. In fact, in about 4 hours' time, we will know the quarterfinalists. New Zealand-Ireland update, still 17 points to 12 in favour of New Zealand for that game now. Johan Grobbelaar moving forward. Hamish going to sleep light because he can't miss the buffet lunch. I'm going to have to set 7 alarms, I'll be honest. And Bros Puppy, a beautiful sell of the dummy. And some great pace being shown by the Bulls number 9, Willie LaRue. Nice support run there. Werner Cox showing intent in the breakdown, but isn't able to get the turnover. Now Elric Lowe breaks through one. Pepsi Buthelezi, the man who makes the tackle there. And it does for me. We can't be the first team. The Dragons do the double over the season, says Fleshin. And also go the Sharks, says Marion there. And also so warm, says a bystander. And Bruce Papier, across there again to Wilco Lowe. Moves up to the 22. I think that Werner Koch might be injured here with how slow he was getting back to his feet. No, sorry, in fact, it's Corne Ral who looked like he was a little bit troubled now. Willie LaRue selling Apalele Fassi the wrong way. That was a hard hit on Johan Hussein's back of the head, but the Bulls go out wide, and David Creel, of all players, will get himself another try. He's on fire. throughout this season, and he's got to be in the bot contention, doesn't he? The way that he's playing at number 13, David Creel. Of course, that one was just a run-in, but still, 17 career tries. Getting better and better, poor Scarlets, says Gareth. And yeah, at the moment in that game, the score does sit 3 points to 3 between those two sides. So that's all right. That's not terrible, is it? At the moment, this game at the moment, we have had 2 tries being scored throughout the first moments of the contest. I should mention there are a few other games of 7s that are taking place at the same time as this game. Bro, you're 100% right. We Cape Townians live for the ocean. That's why even for 4 seasons in a day and playing in the rain, we make it work, says Denzel. Cardiff need to play their best game tonight, says Justin. They certainly do, and so do the Ospreys. Because Ospreys, for them to make it through to the quarters would be a massive achievement, but it's still not an easy task with what they have to do to get there. And wherever they play, or whenever they play, sorry, says Justin there as well. Now Johan Hussein missed. That doesn't happen too often. That man missing a kick. It's going to make the score 23 minutes in, 7 points to 5. Yeah, in terms of tomorrow's games of 7s, the earliest game has taken place at 8:49 p.m. New Zealand time. And then the last game that takes place is at 6:26 a.m. New Zealand time. So we are going right through for all those matches. Yeah, give us Germanites be soft. Says, cool story, bro. Now 24 minutes in here. The Bulls are inside of their 22, so Ambrose Papia will be able to kick this one towards the touchline. I'm not sure that's genuine, brother. Says Fleshin. Our Bulls put high. Awkward one for Ral. Has ended up knocking it on. It seems like momentum in the last minute or so has shifted. Durban doesn't have a winter. Says, cool story, bro. And if Ulster don't get 2 bonus points, it looks like they'll finish below Benetton. Says Brian there. Ambrose Papia goes across there to Villy LaRue. And that one's going to bounce into touch. Nice kick in behind from the experienced Bulls veteran. He looks like he's yelling at someone, but when isn't he? Oh, Villy LaRue. Are we just like our nads on the outside of our bodies? That Cape Town sea is awful, says Gareth. I assume you're talking in terms of how cold it is in that regard. And yeah, it's pretty chilly, the old sea. It's probably worse in Durban, definitely if it's winter as well, now that I think about it. Still odds have the Bulls as favourites, ladies and gentlemen, even though the Sharks are in the lead by 2 points. Numby now, ready to throw this one in, nicely slapped away by Ruan Nokia. Does get it back on the side of the Bulls. That's a bit of obstruction there, and referee has no option but to call for obstruction. The beach isn't bad. The Atlantic Seaboard beaches are too cold for me, says Justin. Just talking about the fact that they did all the hard work of winning that line out against the throw just to then have obstruction. Ireland have just beat New Zealand. Well, there we go. Look at that. Oh. Does that put them through, Fleshin? In the top 2? That may mean that New Zealand miss out now that you've said that. Because New Zealand have only won as many games as Ireland. In fact, no, Ireland have won 2. New Zealand have won 1. Ireland go through. Sorry, drawn level. Okay, so it's not over yet, but they're very close by the sound of it. Yeah, that would mean that New Zealand would actually miss out if Ireland win that game. Fun fact. Which would be a pretty massive one. Not a very fun fact for New Zealand supporters, of course. Now ready to put this ball in here. 17-17 Hamish. Sounds like we're missing a good game between the two sides. This has also been a very strong game. Cameron Wright asking for the penalty. Referee says no. Now going off to the left-hand side here. Little short ball up. Francois Fenta finds the hands of Ethan Hooker. Now Masuku ball on the outside. Well cleaned up by Keita. And like they're saying, such a dangerous winger when he's out there on the field. But there was the knock-on from the Sharks. I'm sure they will not be happy about. So when's load shedding starting? Says Gareth. It's an extra time, says Brian. And OMG, Golden Point, New Zealand versus Ireland. But yeah, like, Ireland have been so close to beating New Zealand many times, haven't they? And eventually it's got to happen. And it seems like, New Zealand were up by a large margin, but they may have blown it right. I've actually got it on my phone so that I can see it while this game is also taking place. We're getting a little bit multitasking, ladies and gentlemen. And this one, while we have got a bit of a stoppage in this Bulls versus Sharks game. Cameron White, has been looking pretty decent throughout the start of this game. Ow. This lid does not turn very easy. In fact, it turns that difficultly that I've got a blister on the inside of my thumb from all the times that I've taken the lid off throughout these streams for the day fun fact. Is it annoying you guys, me saying fun fact, as much as it's annoying me saying fun fact? I said it like 7 times on this live stream. That is a great scrum from the Bulls. Fun fact. It's just a fact, but it could be fun for the Bulls. And Bros Puppy, another salad dummy, looking to snipe round the side of the breakdown. That is a terrible pass from Johan Goosen. How is that not forward? It looks like it's going to be play on. Willie LaRue puts the ball on the outside to Kutli Arnsa, who tries to step, but he's going to be well taken down. Now, for the Bulls, if they have 3 phases, they will... Oh, that's a good shot on Ruan Nokia. But yeah, they won't be able to go back to see that knock on. So I think that's going to be the goal here. They get the penalty anyway, the Bulls. And don't hold your breath. Now that elections are done, watch the space. And also, our brother in New Zealand have beaten Ireland. Yeah, New Zealand get in the last one. Hashtag tough guy. Well, not really. I got a blister. It's very unfortunate. It's very red too. That's not ideal. Get to Waterville rucksack, says Arthur. Now the Bulls, they have a decision to make. Do they want to go for the 3 points or do they want to go for the 7? The answer is they want to kick this one for the corner and ramp up the pressure and try and get themselves the extra 3 points. Injured on, or it's extra 7 points, I should say. Injured on duty, Hamish. Again, well done, Stormers. Go the Sharks. Says Pubs of South Africa. Yeah, Willie LaRue. That was a good pass out wide. I still don't know how that wasn't a forward pass from Johan Goosen when he passed it round his back, but I guess he was facing backwards while passing it forward, so that must work somehow in a roundabout way. Now looking for the rolling maul here, the Bulls. They're within a couple metres and Robilla is over. And they have got themselves another try there for the Bulls. And they will now have the lead in this matchup. 23 career tries for that man, yes, the Bulls, says Birdie V. Like I've just said, that rolling maul has been such a strong tool in this Bulls side. Robilla just not rushing it, just waiting for that one to reach the line so that he could spin out and get himself the try. The Sharks may have scored the first try, but it seems like now the momentum is firmly in favour of their opposition here. Seems like it's going to be hard to take it away from the Bulls. So if the Bulls win here, then the Stormers travel to Munster. That is a possibility, although it also depends on what Munster do in their game. Like, there's still a lot that can happen in just the short amount of time that is remaining in the competition. Hopefully it becomes a little bit more clear after a couple more games. In fact, if you pop in for the Sevens live streams tomorrow, we'll be able to let you know exactly like where everyone is sitting in terms of their rankings and who's going to be playing who. But, yeah, there's still a lot that can happen because Munster at the moment, they still have a game in hand where they will be going up against Ulster, which is why we have a big game needed from the Bulls here if they want to get themselves that bonus point win to put them at the top of the table. Going to be kicked off from Siamasuku again. He scored the first try, but it's the only one for the Sharks at this point. Got sunstroke from waiting in line for 2 hours to vote. Says Cool Story Bro. As Chloe Hamish's big fan. She's up there on the list of fans of myself, which sounds really weird to say, you know, because I just sit in my lounge and talk a lot. That's my thing. Now up to the halfway line. Nice shot on Upper Lelefasi there. And Kurtley Aronsa is just putting in so many big hits, although he's now just been penalised for not being able to roll away. A little bit unfortunate for that man, seeing as he has been putting in such big shots. Oh, the scrum has been called. She better not be cheating and watching another stream, says Justin there. Okay, sounds like Ruanokia just getting a bit of a warning from the referee. Taking some very deep breaths though, Kurtley Aronsa. He's been working hard throughout this game. Almost took a knee to the face from Apalele Fasi, but just throwing his weight or lack thereof around. Went to the evening at 6 p.m, returned just after 8 p.m. Let's go check Free of Sports and see, says Gareth. And there, of course, also Johan is streaming in Afrikaans for anyone who is interested in that style of commentary, or that language of commentary, I guess I should say. Now, Mwong Yombanambi ready to throw this one in for the Sharks. If they want a chance of winning this game, they need to score before half-time. And Marriage Talk Denzel says Arthur, nicely taken by Robala again. Elric Lowe has done well not to end up accidentally pulling that one down. They've got themselves... Oh, nice sniping run from Cameron Wright. I was about to say they have the advantage. Masuku tries to go on the outside. Kane and Moody has stopped that Afrikaans as his own style as well, says Caitlin, and style is correct, says Gareth. See, I only know Baya Dunky and Yao Lekading. That's about all I know. And Afrikaans, and also a few swear words because I've been called a lot of them. So that kind of taught me them early. John Plumtree wanted the try, but his side just couldn't quite get it right. Have you communicated with Rugby Ascendant? I have not. I know that he's done a lot of streams, though, as well, in terms of the URC and whatnot. Quite an avid South African supporter. Sitting 5 metres out from the line at the moment for the Sharks. They will once again look to get this rolling ball pumping. See if they can get themselves over the try line in this matchup. Now, Umbanambi. I feel like he's not too far away from a possibility of a try here. Now, drag down. That's close to the turner. Oh, that's an ugly clean out from Werner Koch. But Ambrose Papia does get the penalty. Have you ever seen a South African or New Zealand go up to him and say that? What does that mean? I think it's Drakus du Plessis has said that before. I can't think of what it is, though, unfortunately. We actually did some work for some South Africans. And I was gifted biltong in the mail, so I gifted some of it to them. Fun fact. Why did I say fun fact? There was no need to say fun fact there. I had already stated what the fact was. We didn't need fun fact on the end. I feel like it's going to become like a little bit of an accidental word that just I end up saying. I'll hit you. Okay. Well, that probably was what Drakus said to a certain extent. Going to be high. Werner Koch. Fun fact merch incoming. Are you allowed to say that on stream without getting cancelled? Says Caitlin. And also, thanks so much. It's been a great day's rugby. Now I'm off down to the pub to watch a real game, the Scarlets versus Dragons. Enjoy. Hopefully it goes all right for your side. And hi, bud. Thanks for the coverage, says Rajin. No worries at all. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are back with plenty more coverage tomorrow of the sevens, also the URC quarterfinals, Super Rugby quarterfinals, also going to be covered on the channel. That's going to be a loose ball for Ruanokia, now cleaned up by Kurtley Aronsa. He's had a very physical game so far. Enjoy the lodge fleshing. And kudos to you on the commentary, mate. And knowing the player's name, take my Bulls hat off to you. Says Marco. Thank you very much, mate. And yeah, we've covered a lot of South African games, even back when the Curry Cup was being shown here in New Zealand. That's our way of how we learnt a lot of these players and then seeing them go up. Hamish, pat in your fun fact and make it blinks. Or make billions, says the Denzel. But surely someone said fun fact before. In the past, you know. Cameron right now into the own half. Masuku going across there to Gurbrand Grobbelaar. Will you be covering any T20 cricket? I'd like to, but I feel like that would be very risky. mainly because, like, copyright for the Cricket World Cup, if we got a copyright strike, it would mean that we don't get to cover the playoff games of the URC until that strike is removed. So for that sake, I don't think we'll be able to. Hamish, you were very lucky. The biltong got through New Zealand Customs. They're very strict. Things coming into New Zealand. Well, that's where the little bit of a sneaky thing came from. It was actually from New Zealand. They made the biltong in New Zealand, I think in the North Island. So like some meat showed up in my mail, and I was kind of confused for a start. I was like, right, this doesn't seem normal. Where's this come from? But then I learned that it was actually France who sent it to us. That one was overthrown. Not very straight. And I don't think they even had the numbers in their line-out. Paris Hilton made That's Hot hers. Says, cool story, bro. I'm not sure you can ever enjoy that place, says Flesham. So Umanumbi just communicating with the side again, making sure he knows exactly what the call is going to be. Oxneshare going over to him, giving him a bit of a word. This first half, like I mentioned, it's just gone very, very fast. We've only got one half to go. Pity. Biltong was probably sent wet and fatty and got it nice and dry, says bystander. Yeah, we did a video on it, tasting it. It wasn't that great, but I actually believe that was due to the supplier of it and the fact that it was sitting in the mail for probably 2 days, sitting in the heat. So it probably got a little bit of a kind of taste to it. But like even the ones that we were working for, the South Africans, like I let them have some and they said that it wasn't the best biltong they've ever had either. So yeah, still got to try genuine biltong, I would say, at some point. And the way you guys cut it gave me a stroke. Yeah, it wasn't the best way of doing it. It was just with a butter knife, wasn't it? We weren't able to quite get it through. Johan Hussen's taking a knock on his nose there in the process of making that tackle. Little chip in behind from Masuku. Going to be slapped back onto the side of the Bulls now. David Creel looking for the kick in behind, looking for a 50-22. The ball's going to sit up 5 metres out behind. Masuku slips over, and great composure shown there by Kurtley Avrinson. It's knocked on by Creel. And now it looks like it's going to be play on for just a little bit longer. Apalele Fassi keeping his feet. In fact, it was Pepsi Buthelezi that time. Apalele Fassi now in possession, looking to run it out from their 22, now going for the boot off the left. And now great territory gain for the Sharks. This one is back and forth. I enjoy wet biltong. Says Justin. I've been quiet here by the stadium. A bit of the cheer now for something. And now Masuku looking for the cross kick. That'll probably be what it was. And Ostrich biltong very stringy and sweet, says Ruth. Now 45 seconds remaining in this first half. The Bulls are still only up by the 5 points. Nice offload to Vernicock from Oxneshare. The 2-box linking up in the front row. Now the turnover is good for the Bulls. Eldrick Lowe, he's just decided to boot it down the field just for the sake of it. He's kicked it dead. And they'll go back for the original knock-on here. Kudos is my go-to, says Justin. Hamish biltong is best eaten in the bushfield. Around a fire with great friends. We have done some hunting in South Africa. I've never been hunting in South Africa, and I've also never been actually hunting here in New Zealand either. So, $90 a kg for biltong. Yeah, it's expensive. Which is why, like, homemade biltong, I assume, in South Africa, if you can go hunting and whatnot, like, I assume that makes it a lot cheaper than having to buy it from the shop. Oh, sounds like someone's going for an HIA here. Might be Kurtley Arenser, or is he all right? No, he looks like he's going to continue. Can't believe it's almost 5 p.m. here. Another hour and a half till home. And when I arrived in New Zealand from Chile, when I was backpacking around the world, the customs lady was very suspicious, searched all my bags for drugs, I assume. I was just happy I didn't have a finger up the... Yeah, that kind of is a rough way to start the holiday normally, I would say. You know, when you're just going in the airport and they go, I'm going to put my gloves on and we're going to see what we can find. You enjoy eating your first kill testicles. Says Justin, and close to 3 a.m. for you, Hamish. Thanks for the effort, says bystander. No worries at all. And like I mentioned, tomorrow we're going to be starting at around 8-something p.m. New Zealand time, going right through to 6:30 or 7. Start or end it, I assume. I guess so, yeah. It could be the end of the trip as well, couldn't it? Or was she a hot customs lady? When you want biltong again, say you want yellow fat biltong, it's the best. Says a Marco. See, I'm not too sure how many options are actually available here in New Zealand, although I did notice when we were at the cricket between New Zealand and Australia, that one's gone into touch, so that will be half-time now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 points to 7. But there was a new company advertising biltong, and you can actually get in at a lot of petrol stations now, depending on where you are in the country. I don't think they sell it here, but they do sell it in Dunedin, I did see when I was down there. Some countries you pay extra for that. Says Robert. Yeah. And bluff meat have it for 20 kgs or $20 a kg often. Not so bad. Says Gareth. Bluff meat. Is that like a New Zealand site, I assume? Possibly. And thus game needs to have a spark in the second half, although both of these sides working well. The petrol station biltong is not worth it. Isn't it? What if it's premium? What if it says premium on the middle of it? Does that give it any sort of extra oomph in terms of credibility and tastiness? Agreed, wet and fatty all the way, says a bystander. Yeah. I ate hot dogs balls. Oh no, sorry, I ate hogs balls at the Hokitika Wild Foods Festivals. How was it? I don't think I'd, like, not on purpose anyway, I don't think I'd eat an animal's testicle. Like, I'm not against people who do it, just not for me, you know. We probably, you know, they tried to make me eat haggis at a Scottish heritage thing that we went to at school. I put together a fantastic tug-of-war team that just dominated. You know, this was when we were about 6, and I was the mastermind. I made sure that I put together the best team possible. I don't even think we won anything. I think we got a certificate maybe, if we're lucky. But then they were like, eat some haggis, and I said no and left. After, of course, everything else had happened. But, yeah, haggis, not for me. Sushi, even not for me, unless it's, like, good. But I don't like for some reason, I'm weird. Well, that's a quote. Put that on a shirt. For some reason, I'm weird. But I don't like the idea of eating seaweed. I don't know why. I don't think it's because it's from the sea, I guess. And bluff meat is a butchery here, says Caitlin. As you guys can probably tell, the sleep deprivation has really kicked in at this point. My eyes are pretty bloodshot. I feel like the family tomorrow at the family reunion, the family lunch that is, they're going to think I've taken drugs, but I haven't. I went to Australia a few years back. You have a Hungry Jack in your part of the world? Sadly not, but we have a BK, or Burger King as it is known in its full term. And, you know, it does the job. Me and George went there about 3 weeks ago. We had to wait 10 minutes for a cup. But that happens. You know, sometimes the cups are hard to grab. The only balls I eat is Italian meatballs on spaghetti with Napoli sauce, says Ruth. They were tasty, but a bit chewy. I imagine a testicle would be quite chewy. Now I think about it. Plus a tongue, you know, when people eat tongue, sometimes it looks like it's quite a chewy one unless you can cook it real good. What a day so far, and yes, I'm back at home about 15 minutes ago. So far, so good for the Bulls. Yeah, they're doing well in this first half, although the Sharks, the way that they started definitely deserves a little bit of praise. It's just whether or not they can keep that momentum going forward. Plumtree was happy with that try from Masuku. They are just showing his reaction to it. Tongue isn't bad, says Justin. Yeah, it depends on who cooks it, I think. Like, that can kind of sometimes help. Jake White, what's he doing with his mouth? Is he chewing on something? He was going like that. Kiwi lads, rugby and food always, says Arthur. Some kind of gravy. I don't want to know what the main ingredient of it was. Yeah, because I guess if the meat was a testicle, then the you know, the other thing involved in it was probably also some sort of testicle-like object, you know. And nothing worse than being in a house when someone has sheep's head in the oven. I can't relate. I haven't really put a sheep's head in the oven before, but you, I guess. Bulls coming out roaring second half, says Ruth. See that with a lot of emphasis, and tongue is more tender than meat from the same animal. Sleep deprivation has been shown to affect drivers more than drink driving or drug driving. That is true. Tell us about the rugby. It's half time at the moment, the way that it sits in this contest. Sadly, no rugby taking place just at this very moment, but I can tell you all about the halftime stats if you would like. Just saw it. What was Jack White doing with his mouth? Jaw seizure? See, as a bystander, you're not sure what he was doing with it, but I mean, it worked, I guess. They're in the lead now, aren't they? In this contest. But now, URC information, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the match centre. There is another game taking place at the same time. Scarlets taking on the Dragons. That is happening as well. And currently, the Scarlets are leading that game 17 points to 3. The Rico story backs up my theory on him not being the best centre at the moment, says Stuart Moore. And also what happened to Ian Foster. He's chilling in a mansion. You know, he's pretty happy with where he is. At the moment, the drawer making their way through to the quarterfinals of Super Rugby. Currently in this game, we will get through some stats, ladies and gents, before the second half does get underway. So far, we have seen 3 tries scored. David Creel, Johan Grubela, and also Masuku was able to score the try for the Sharks. Possession is 54% in favour of the home side, the Sharks. 12 defenders beaten for the Sharks compared to the 6 of the Bulls. But clean breaks, the Bulls have got the advantage, 6-3. And their favour. Territory is 64% in favour of the Sharks. And then in terms of the penalty count, 5 penalties conceded from the Bulls compared to the 4 of the Sharks. And then also, we've seen 2 defenders beaten by Ambrose Papia, 2 defenders beaten by Fenta, and Apalili Fassi and Vili LaRue both having the most running metres for their respective sides throughout the first half. Most tackles made by Elric Lowe and James Fenta. He was able to make 6 for the Sharks. It's probably one of those seasons, Blitzbox, no wins in Madrid. And by the way, Jake chewing on a pen. Did he shove the whole pen in his mouth? I swear I couldn't see a pen. So like if it was in his whole mouth, then maybe could be in there. Maybe the lid. What's the score now? Currently still sitting 12 points to 7, seeing as it's still half time in this game. But the Sharks were able to score the first try with Masuku. 2 back-to-back tries for Johan Grubela, as well as the try coming for David Creel. Terminator is my hero, and Hamish, boom, says Ruth. And maybe sucked up some ink. I've done that before. That was an accident, though. Back at primary school. You know those gel pens that to be able to get them to work, you either had to blow or suck on them? Sounds a bit dodgy, but makes sense. So, like, I remember I went, blew on it, and then accidentally went, and then sucked up a whole heap of purple glitter, which was not a good move. And it didn't taste very nice, but since then I've never sucked on a pen again. So, like, life lessons. Got to be good for you. Currently, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the 7s that has taken place, I know that the USA were taking on Great Britain in the women's 7s. The Bulls must win, says Johannes. Yeah, it would certainly help them big time if they were able to get themselves a victory here. And they would be sitting close to number 1. You're the reason. Are they no longer let kids use pens? Probably. Although it wasn't as bad as someone in our group or our class. You know how you buy crayons for school? They would eat them all throughout like 2 days. And then they'd have no crayons. And then anytime they put crayons out on the table, they'd eat those as well. I was very confused, you know, but this was when I was like 7. So I was like, surely they don't want to eat the whole pack. Save some for the rest of us. Second half, very close, ladies and gents. But looking through at the table, the way that it sits, if Bulls get themselves the victory here, they will move up to first place if, and I mean only if, they win this game by, first of all, 10 points. And the other option, of course, is just getting a bonus point win would put them up to first place. Now, they've already got 2 tries in this contest, so they do need another 2 in this one throughout the second half. And if they are able to do that, then they will be exactly where they want to be. Now, the other option is Munster. Of course, Munster are sitting on 63, so even if the Bulls go to the top of the bunch, if Munster get themselves the win over Ulster, Munster will be first, and they will have their home field privileges for as long as they are in the competition, as the French would say. Where can I watch the live match? DSTV is your best option. I say some of the rest of us sounds like you wanted a taste, says Caitlin. Well, it already sucked up a pen at that point. I might as well see what a crayon's like. Is it halftime? It is, yes. We aren't too far away from the second half getting underway. Southern Hemisphere teams rock, says Manny M. It's a habit of Jake White with that pen. Pen is always there, and he is making notes of the match, says Amone Lagrange. I wish I once had a spray paint tin nozzle pointing the wrong way and sprayed my face bright yellow. And I'm sure from there you took a half extra second to make sure you had it the right way around. What about YouTube? YouTube, no options, unfortunately, for being able to watch the game live. Sadly, like any match footage or audio for any content creator on YouTube will get you taken straight down. And you have to deal with 3 months of not being able to stream. And that's a very long time for a streamer. They are just showing a distant cruise ship. Blue crayons are the best flavour. Are they? Do they taste like blueberry, or do they have a distinctive blue flavour? Oh, here's a question, ladies and gentlemen. Do people think the M&Ms taste different depending on the colour? Maybe. While it's half time, I can't wait for New Zealand to come to South Africa. I think it's going to be one of the best tours, as New Zealand want to beat us in South Africa to show us, or make up for the World Cup. And South Africa wants to show we are the best, says Marco. Of course, even Ireland heading to South Africa is going to be an absolutely monumental tour. We are covering that one on the channel as well. How's the Sevens going? At the moment, the New Zealanders have just made their way back out onto the field by the looks of it for Michaela Blyde. I'm just looking for a scoreboard. They haven't actually got one on yet, though. You must keep us updated. We will do. As soon as they're back out on the field, we will keep you informed. Yes, artificial colours make differences to the taste for me. Oh, do they? That would be a fun video to do. Is to do a blindfolded M&M taste test and see whether or not we can tell the difference between the colours. Can't taste a difference in M&M colours. Says Caitlin there. Can't wait for the Ireland test. I think we are going to bugger them up, says Marco. But now kicking this one off, Johan Goosen to get the second half underway. And nicely claimed by Apelele Fassi just outside of his 22. Cameron Wright goes across to Vincent Koch. Pen ink doesn't taste good, Hamish. Did happen to my brother with the pen ink. Yeah, nah, you learn pretty quick not to do it again. When you accidentally swallow a pen. Well, not swallow one, but yeah, ingest a pen. Near the touchline, Goosen getting it back down towards the Sharks 22. Well claimed by Wright, who had plenty of time to be able to work. Gets driven towards the touchline there. A little bit of a counter ruck coming from the Bulls. Trying to cause a bit of a disruption here. The Gerbra Hrubala. The All Blacks are going to make mincemeat out of the box. I would not guarantee that one bit. Now Cameron Wright putting it up high again with the box kick. Quite a few kicks coming throughout this game by both of these sides, but that's Moody. Kaina Moody, we've hardly said that man's name. In fact, I think that's the first time we've said that man's name. Pen ink may taste a bit better with the glitter. I also wouldn't guarantee that. I feel like it just causes more of a obvious, like your mouth's already purple and now that you got glitter in it, kind of stands out that little bit more as well. Just not a very fun time. I think I was in year 6 as well, which means that I was 10 years old when this happened. Should have known better. Fun starter now hitting it up again for the Bulls. Currently have got themselves the 2 tries throughout this game. Werner Koch makes the tackle. This looks like Maka van Staden is very slow getting back up to his feet at the moment here. Gerhard Stennekamp has first carry. Where do they play? Says Johannes. They are currently playing in Durban for this matchup. It's going to be kicked downfield. Apelele Fassi, 50-22. Fantastic kick from the young 15. Of course, with certain players being ineligible to play for the Springboks, perhaps Fassi's trying to put his name in the hat as a possibility at fullback. Well, this does look like Mako van Staden has got a relatively serious injury here to his leg. Would be great if the Cheetahs, Pumas, and the Riquas formed a team to play in Super Rugby. And we have got their World Rugby might call it 1 point games. All 1 point games a draw. Are they capable of anything? Says Arthur. And my cousin drew all over my face with marker pen while I was sleeping. She said it was a tattoo. Says Ruth. Sounds like you have some pretty eventful times in South Africa, Ruth. Are you covering any cricket in the USA? I'd like to, but once again, I feel like it would get us into trouble. Unfortunately, I know that sounds weird to say, but pretty much like if we get a copyright strike, a false one that is, from that, then we won't be able to stream as much rugby, which I feel like would be a little bit disappointing. Definitely because we're built up to these July internationals. So if we were to do it, it would probably be on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, but we would give a warning on the main channel that we are live over there. So Van Staden does want to continue this match, and I'm sure he is stinging a little bit at the moment. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching the Black Caps games and hopefully seeing them do well. I think the West Indies have looked pretty good throughout their warm-up games, winning 3-0 up against the South Africans. Oh, they've got the scan the QR code to download the 2024 fixtures. Oh, let's see what happens here. So, of course, the URC fixtures recently were announced. I think I've broken my phone. I think my phone was too old to do that. And bless you, morning sneezes. Says Caitlin, could you start a separate channel for the cricket? I could do. We've got quite a few cricket supporters on this channel as we are. But yeah, I guess it's just trying to tell everyone that we're going over to the new channel is the trickier part. What teams are in the Black Caps group? They've got Papua New Guinea. They've got Afghanistan. And I can't quite remember who the other one was. Yeah, I think I broke my phone trying to sync up with the URC fixtures. Probably shouldn't have done it on an old phone. But that's okay. Coffee is very nice in New Zealand, but expensive if you compare to South Africa. I have never tried coffee. So I'm probably the worst possible person to ask in terms of what the coffee is like here in New Zealand. I know a lot of people think that that's weird that I haven't had coffee or a Red Bull or tea for that matter, but I am weird, so they're right. Now, nice rolling ball here for the Sharks. Umanumbi, that looked like double movement to be just short of the line. Now Vincent Koch wants to bulldoze his way over. Damn. I just heard the commentator really shout Koch from the top of his lungs. And it just still made me chuckle. I know it shouldn't, but it does. I'm childish. There's going to be a great turnover for the Sharks here. They've managed to get the ball back now. Johan Goosen going with a chip in behind. Maybe should have put the boot to ball a little bit harder. But great run forward from Kane and Moody here in the foot race. Apalele Fassi. He's just going to stop him there. And they're 5 meters out from the line. And the penalty goes the way of the Bulls. This is going to be a yellow card. You haven't worked in retail. Coffee hasn't become a necessity, says Caitlin there. But I think there's going to be a yellow card against Vincent Tichuca here because of going into the breakdown and trying to get the turnover. I think they're going to check this one. Right, I think we are just learning here. Is it just going to be the penalty or is it a yellow card here? 7. They're looking for Vincent Tichuca. I agree with you. But we are playing more rugby, running rugby these days. Says Marco and Jeff Wilson played for the Black Caps before he became an All Black. Says Manny M. Yeah, Kane and Moody, just brilliant run forward. He's definitely been a lot more evidential in the second half of hospitality. I worked at a supermarket for a while, like a few years. Fun fact. Why did I say fun fact? There wasn't a fun, that was just a fact. It's not that fun. And about the Cricket World Cup, as long as England and Australia lose, I'm happy, says Marco. Go for 100%, says Caitlin. Also had a brief stint in a bowling alley. That was an interesting time. Now, yellow card for Vincent Tichuca. Be disappointed with that. And thanks for all your support for the Brick Samish. See you in a bit. Says, cool story, bro. Now getting close here for the rolling maul of the Bulls. And while Canada playing really well, hope the Blackburn scores soon. Says Novmum. Still 5 metres out from the line, and that is going to be the scrum feed now for the Sharks. Well defended at rolling maul time. And as I love Cape Town, he was always out. And bowl them over. Hamish, with your commentary. Says Roof, and I see we have just ticked over to the hour mark on the stream, ladies and gents. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're back with the quarterfinals. We're back with the Super Rugby quarterfinals as well as the URC. And we've got sevens all throughout tomorrow where we'll get to see New Zealand playing, South Africa, Fiji, Samoa, Kenya, Ireland, Great Britain, Australia, Argentina. Who did I miss? France. Bloody France, eh? Well, I'll go there, Jake White. His face goes red when he gets excited. Says Ruth. See, my face goes red when I get, embarrassed. Well, not so much embarrassed, but, I can just turn into a chameleon very, very quick. I should be a good air hostess. No, I think I get bored of being on a plane after a while. What's the score in the Welsh game? The last I saw it was 18 points to 3 in favour of the Scarlets. But the Ospreys have not played yet, which of course is the game that a lot of people are looking at in their game up against Cardiff. I do miss a good night out in Obs, says Gareth. And July the 6th, make a note, All Blacks versus England. 35 minutes left, still a man advantage here for the Bulls, but the scrum feed will be in favour of the Sharks, who are only 5 metres out from their own line. Still well and truly in with a good shot of being able to win this one. It's amazing how well the Canadian women play since none of them are pros. And thank you, says Carlo. No worries at all. Martin Zima now making his way onto the field. That is for Gerhard Stennekamp, who did start this match. So now Vincent Tishuka, unfortunately, does have to wait on the sideline until he can make his way back out there. And I'm back. What did I miss? Not too much. Just a yellow card to Vincent Chishuka. Other than that, pretty similar scoreline to what we did have at halftime, I believe. I think it was 12 points to 7. No one really rotating in terms of the scoreboard as of yet. I'm sure once it starts going, these two sides are going to be hard to stop. Cameron Wright, though, to feed this ball in 5 metres out from their line here, the Sharks. And going back across to the right-hand side. Good aggressive attack and run from Francois Finta. Now Wright goes back across to Vincent Koch. Look like the scrum. We're a little bit slow getting back up there with Oxnechet and Bongi Umbanambi. They're asking for the penalty. I don't think they're going to receive it. Now back across. Masuku hit hard. A lot of pressure on him. Nicely taken by Kanan Moody, who's come alive in the second half. Great tackle made on him, though, by Cameron Wright. Shutting down that forward momentum. Another run forward from Ruan Vermaak. Gets his offload away to Cameron Honeycomb. They've got about 10 men on this left-hand side. So Vili LaRue decides to go for the chip in behind. It's a loose ball. The Sharks have been able to clean it up. Now, is this taken back? Yes, it is. So it will be the 5 metre scrum here for the Bulls, who are just dominating the territory in the early stages of this second half of rugby. And it will annoy the Sharks with the fact that they were so in this contest in the first half, and they still are. But if the Bulls spend a majority of the time just out from the Sharks line, eventually they are going to be able to break through. Don't forget the Frenchies, toast and frog legs, Hamish, says Ruth. Yeah, Vili LaRue trying that little chip in behind. Hoping for the favourable bounce of the Sharks getting bullied. At the moment, I don't know if I'd say bullied, but I would just say that they aren't winning the territory battle at this point in time. Plus that yellow card of Vincent Tichuca hasn't really helped them out too much. Thing is, now they are playing with one less man on the field as well. Now, Ambrosa Papier to feed this ball into the scrum for the Bulls. And I've got the penalty advantage already going to the short side. It's going to be put into touch, I believe. No, the referee says that they are still in play. Glad Wayne Smith is back in the All Black setup. Here's Manny M now. Johan Rovela. 2 metres out. Martin Zima. He's just been put down. That was a very long time that he was up in the air. Thought we were going to run out of breath, and in fact, he's going to be held up. They will go back for the original penalty at the rolling maul. 2 more tries for the bonus point for the Bulls. Exactly right, yes. And then from there, the only side that can go ahead of them would be Munster. So, there's still a bit of oomph left in the last few games of the competition. Of course, Munster going to be playing at the same time as Cardiff are versing the Ospreys. So pretty much that game, one of which will determine the top 8 in terms of the number 1 spot, and the other will determine the 8th spot involving the Ospreys. Vincent Cock looks like he's going to continue playing out there on the field. The Springbok pack, though, under immense pressure, and of course with one less man on the field. Girl I knew had a casual 6 a.m. walk with Wendell Saylor after the game in Cape Town. Good for her. Do you think the All Blacks have lost their aura? There's many M. I mean, the aura, let's be completely honest, the aura hasn't been there for quite some time. As we get further and further through the professional era, and as more sides are becoming a lot more competitive at international level, they do lose that a little bit. I just want the Bulls to win, so we don't get Stormers, and one will take us out of 4th. Says a Marco there, and Johan Goosen with the short ball, going away to Harold Foster. They don't want to give up here yet, the Sharks. They are still defending with everything that they've got, but the question is, how long can they hold on for? Kamranani Kom, he's dropped that ball, and Oxney has cleaned it up, knock on from Raul, and they'll go back for another scrum here, using up quite a bit of time throughout the second half in terms of the scrummaging. Like a casual walk anytime with Beauden Barrett, says Ruth. I think a lot of people would. I think even I would accept a casual walk with Beauden Barrett at some stage. And go the Bulls go, says Johannes in the chat as well. Currently up by 5, having a couple crucial handling errors. Justin them was a great player for the Kangaroos, says Manny M. Okay, sounds like the Water Boys have been told to get off the field. We're going to have the break and kill story. He was terrific. Says a roof there. Well, we will go like this and like that as well. The Bulls are still favourite. I've been checking it every about 10 minutes or so, and they are still considered as the favourite option in this contest. Understandably so, because they have got the man advantage just at the moment. Of course, they want to try and extend on that and get themselves in a great position in this game. Yeah, big scrums coming from the Bulls all over the field. And that is not easy to do up against the front row of the Sharks, involving 3 Springboks players. Jake White currently on the walkie-talkie, having a bit of a conversation with the trainers and whatnot down south. And of course, by down south, I mean in the dugout, not like down south as in further down south in South Africa. Fezambata, he has made his way onto the field. Bulls are the best. Can't wait for the Anzacs versus the British and Irish Lions. You talks very well. Want to listen more on your site, says Carlos. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. That one is going to go into touch for Cameron Wright. Of course, we're going to be covering the Sevens tomorrow as well. So be sure to keep an eye out for those games, as there is going to be plenty of them taking place. I believe we're going to be covering around maybe 10 to 15 games. Yeah, it should be a very exciting one. Black Ferns are coming back. And Bulls season so far is good, says Dominique. And of course, they do want to make sure, if they can help it, that they qualify first. It will give them a massive advantage heading forward. Could even see a home final happening at Loftus for the Vodacom Bulls. Now, nice run forward from Elric Lowe. Moving up to the 22. For the Bulls, they want to get that bonus point. If not, they have to win this game by 10 to make sure that they get themselves into first place for now. I can't wait to see the final log this evening, so we can see where we stand, says Denzel. And of course, Super Rugby recently announced in terms of who is playing who in the quarterfinals. We've got no derbies in those 4 games. It is all at least New Zealand versus Australia, or involving the Fijian draw. I wonder if in this competition we're going to get to see maybe a derby or 2 taking place for these South Africans. Cameron Wright, he's being told to use it there. And Vincent Clock Rolling it back. Again, it is going to be inside of the 22, so they are able to kick this one out on the full here. Our Rebels are no more. Another club coming or not. Will I see you at the YouTube Awards in Christchurch? Do they have YouTuber Awards in Christchurch? I didn't even know that was a thing. To be honest, like, when is it? I'm confident the All Blacks will crush the Wallabies in 2027, says Manny M. Crowd still loving the action. Even though their side are down by 5 at the moment, they know that they are in a position where they can come back into this game, and that is why every point is going to be crucial in this contest. This one's going down to the wire. I'm confident the All Blacks will crush the Wallabies in 2024. But yeah, to go back to that Rebels comment, I don't know if another team is actually coming in yet. Looks like Ruanokia trying to stretch out a little bit of cramp that he's got, and there's another knock on. Unfortunately, every time we get more than 3 phases, someone drops the ball and we go back for another scrum. Having a lot throughout this game so far. This time it is Matanzima who has dropped it for the Bulls. They did all the hard work of getting that ball onto their side, and it just ends up going down. Is this the last match you are doing? It is the last match we are doing until tonight, New Zealand time, which is going to be in about 16 hours time. And that is going to be the game taking place for the Sevens. My brain stopped working there for a second. You and me are the biggest two in the South Island now. My last lives are massive. I'm viral, says True Crime there. Nate did say that you've been doing a little bit of streaming or a little bit of videoing and whatnot. And Cheetahs and the Cats should take the Rebels spot, says a bystander. I mean, it would be interesting, although the travel side of things might be where it gets a little bit tricky, I would say. Like, if there wasn't the travelling from South Africa to New Zealand involved, and vice versa, I feel like it could have been a pretty awesome option. I know that people have talked about the Higuares making the return, but once again, the travel side of things is probably what would hurt them. It's like now Gubran Hrubala has been taken from the field. He's had a good game, though, throughout this contest. Done a majority of things right when it comes to that line out. Some teams scrum, some teams scrounge. Says Cool Story Bro. I agree, a bonus point win for the Bulls, and amongst the loss in the URC trophy is the Bulls, says Marco. Right, the time has now been turned on. Logistics, yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, like, if everyone was on the same time zone with not massive travelling time, like, it would be very awesome indeed. Now, another scrum. Like I said, many scrums. We love scrums, apparently, in this game. Justin Marshall said in an interview that the All Blacks must win every test right the way through 2027. Justin Marshall also said that the Crusaders should try and increase their points differential when they were beating the Blues, even though they already had all of the points that they could have got from that game. So I wouldn't take everything that Justin Marshall says completely seriously, because if they had done what he wanted them to do in that game, they probably would have lost. Fun fact. That is a fun fact, though, this time. Cameron Wright going off now. Short ball to Ral. He's going to be staying out on the field for the rest of this contest. Oxnishe going across there and behind to Apalele Fassi. In a low-scoring game between these two sides. It started off with a hiss and a roar. We saw 3 tries within the first 25 minutes or so. And since then, nothing for the next 25. Kicked high from Masuku. Kaita chasing after it. It's gone into touch on the full there from Masuku. First signs of a little bit of pressure, perhaps, on that man. Aim should the Sharks win. Can they move up the ladder? They cannot, no. I don't believe. I'll just quickly have a look. Technically, no. Yeah, they could, actually. If they win this game and they win it with a bonus point, so they need 3 more tries throughout the next 26 minutes, then they can actually go up ahead of Cardiff, depending on what happens in that Cardiff game. Fun fact, rugby is played by men and women as well, do play it quite a bit. New Zealand pundits do say the dumbest things at times, says Arthur, and some of it I think is on purpose to try and get people fired up and kind of increase interaction, a little bit similar to the media. You'll see a lot of clickbaity kind of titles just to try and get people clicking on it. Now, Achafana Merva goes in behind to Mbros Papier. And the breakdown. Yikes, do you know why the Crusaders are like a light switch on and off? More off. I can't believe that a team like the Crusaders can be this bad from last year compared to this year. I do have an answer for you. Pretty much, it wasn't just the fact that Razor left, but also the fact that they lost about 10 players who were their starters. That's a nice run down the wing from Sebastian de Klerk. But yeah, losing about 11 or so All Blacks from last year compared to this year does make a massive difference. Oh, woman too. Please don't cancel me, says bystander. And also, the Munster match should be a good match. Says Connor, yeah, hopefully it is going to be a bit of a back and forth one between those two sides. Just talking about seeing that space to be able to run through into it. Currently the time is off, I believe. Yes, it is. We had a lot of stoppages throughout the second half. As you guys have heard me say many times, the Bulls need this win by 10 points. At least pull your finger out, Bulls, says Andre. And to be honest, I think the more likely is for them to score 4 tries. They need 2 more, and that'll get them to about that differential of 10 anyway. Looks like they're actually going to be checking something on the TMO maybe here. Referee has had to run the full length of the field. They're going to check this tackle on Sebastian de Klerk. Ah, yes, shoulder charge attempted by Apalele Fassi. Does not make a lot of connection with him, but the intent was there to try and shoulder charge him. No arms tackle, probably going to be the penalty in favour of the Bulls there. So the Sharks won the Challenge Cup. So now Champions Cup fight for 7 spots, or am I wrong? No, you are correct, which actually means that it would be the Lions who miss out on the Champions Cup because of the Sharks winning the Challenge Cup. So it's actually hurting a different South African side, with the Sharks being the victors of that Challenge Cup. New Zealand must get another club side into the NRL if they are going to close the gap on the Kangaroos. Says a Manny M. That is going to be the penalty against Apalele Fassi. This isn't going to be a yellow card, is it? Okay, just the penalty only. That's a good call, because if they had said that that was going to be a yellow, I would have been extremely confused. I love to see the Kangaroos versus All Blacks match, says Manny M. Now the Bulls are again going to be kicking this one towards the corner. 25 minutes left. And Johan Goosen trying to get as close to the corner as he can. Come on, the Sharkies, play well now, please, says Colleen. This is where the Bulls, they will look to get that rolling ball going like they had earlier on in the game. I should also mention that the Sharks, they've been pretty decent when it comes to their goal line defence, only conceding 2 tries throughout this game. I would not like Fassi as a box 15, says Ritzema. They're going to be dragged down well. Achafana Merva driven backwards 2 metres by the Sharks defence. Now Nassim Carr tackled by Lavaskachny, close to the line there for Imros Papier. Who's going to go? It looks like Akafana Merva. He tunnels his way to the try line. And that's going to be the try. I think New Zealand made the biggest mistake to let go of the South African team, Super Rugby. And I hope she'll be signing autographs for me at the YouTube Awards in Wellington next month. He's a great guy, says True Crime. And also we have got there, come on, the Sharkies play well now, although they have now just conceded. And it looks like Werner Koch took a bit of a knock there. And then Akafana Merva, oh, he's kind of crawled up to the line. But I think he already had the ball on the line before he was crawling. So it should stand, and the Bulls now 19 points to 17. Oh, sorry, 19 points to 7. And there's our 10, says Andre. I think they're going to need that last try, though, because that just makes it a lot easier. Plus, that takes away a draw in the Munster game, I believe, if they can get themselves the bonus point here for the Bulls. On the 18, says Robert there. On the 18. On the 18, what we talking, Robert? And agree by standard, we need a good Wallabies team. Here's Manny M, but nicely done by Achafana Merva. And what's on June 18th? What is on June 18th? Is there something on June 18th? The YouTube Awards. Well, in New Zealand. I don't even know we have more than 3 YouTubers in New Zealand, to be honest. I must have taken the bonus point. Says Arthur, but rolling this one back, it will be Ambrose Papier. Now, putting this one high. And run Sharkies score for us. Says Colleen, nice claim from Apalele Fasi, but another knock on from the Sharks. That is really starting to hurt them here. Unfortunately, every time that they get half a chance of creating more than a few phases, the ball gets dropped. It's the same for the Bulls in the second half, in fact. Neither of these sides having huge momentum. And if the Bulls end up first on the log after Munster versus Ulster, the URC Cup as the Bulls, as it's all games at Loftus. Says Marco there and had to disappear for a while. Stormers picking up steam, 3 tries now. Exactly right, 1 more try needed. How's the T-Rex or T-Rev going? Australia with Aussie rules and league. Union taking the back seat, unfortunately, but you know this. Says bystander. June 18th, I get compromised as greatest YouTuber in New Zealand. Says True Crime Comedy Channel. Have you ever noticed that you spelt channel wrong? True Crime Comedy Chanel, I guess that is actually, isn't it? The way that the table currently sits, the Bulls would be in first on 65 points. Now, there are 2 other sides on 65, Glasgow as well as Leinster. So getting those extra points can be absolutely crucial for the Sharks. They'll try and close this gap. For the Bulls, they will try and extend it. Now we have got ourselves another scrum for about the 15th time in this game, which sounds like an exaggeration, but sadly I don't actually think it really is. Bradley Davis now making his way onto the field for Cameron Wright. Amish, it's Chanel. I'm classy. And also by standard, do you think the All Blacks can win the World Cup in 2027? And after that spelling, you need to get the award. Says Marco. Now Ambrose Papier to put this ball in again. Now I should mention off the Bulls bench, they've got some pretty decent talent. Keegan Johannes will be making his way on. Chris Smith is still, I think he's out there on the park. We haven't seen him a huge amount, but that is because neither side can really get more than a few phases together. What would a win do for Munster? If they get themselves to win Munster, they will move to first on the table. But if they do not get themselves to win over Ulster, they will not move to first on the table. That is going to be a little loose ball there for Elric Lowe jumping on it here. The Bulls looking to the short side of Keegan, or in fact, no, sorry, Ambrose Papier. Driven backwards, big shot from Wilco Lowe. And the ball goes the way of the scrum in the favour of the Sharks. I'm a Sharks fan. Why not vote for a team that can actually win the competition? Says, cool story, bro. I mean, to be fair, they did win a competition. It was the Challenge Cup. Take it easy on the Bears, Tony Martinez. The second half's gone extremely slow. The referee has just said to them, let's speed it up. And I agree. Because when you've had so many scrums throughout a half, it always feels like you're going nowhere in the contest. And it seems like it's inevitable for the Bulls to eventually get themselves that extra try, but it's more so the question of can the Sharks also score themselves a few. I hope the All Blacks have a brand new jersey. I hated the World Cup one. Says Manny. Now, ball about to be fed in by Davis. Sharks won a cup, says Johannes. They did indeed. Oh, another scrum reset. This is unfortunate. I feel like this is one of those games that if we had maybe 5 or 6 less scrums, the crowd would be a lot louder right now. It seems like they are pretty silent currently, just from all the scrum resets and scrum penalties that we have had throughout this game. And also, Bulls must get the bonus point, says Carlo. And they just need the one more try in the 20 minutes to be able to get themselves that bonus point. Davis be feeding this ball in again. The days of the AB's not having a shirt sponsor. But we all sell out eventually, says a bystander. Now, going to be on the outside. Francois Fenta gets it away to Werner Koch. Looked like he had a bit of an injury. That's forward by about 7 metres from Apalele Fasi. The Sharks just look a little bit rattled at the moment in the way that they're attacking. They're not really allowing those passes to go to hand, instead trying to create some magic with very little time to be able to make it happen. Currently in the other game that has taken place in the URC, ladies and gentlemen, Scarlets are winning 29 points to 8. Lost Tony, why are you chasing Rev? Good price for a fish. And if Sonny Bill Williams can make it in the All Blacks team, so can Manu, says Maniam. I should also mention that in the sevens at the moment in the men's side of things, Australia versus Great Britain is sitting 7-all between those two teams. We are going to get to see South Africa in action tomorrow. They'll be going head-to-head with, in fact, we have got a few more games that are being confirmed for the sevens. We just have to wait a bit longer to find out who is facing who. But South Africa, they are going to be playing in the sevens at 9:11 p.m. New Zealand time. So that is going to be 11:11 a.m. for you guys in South Africa tomorrow morning. Christian Cullen and Carlos Spencer were so good. Says, by standard, what's your take on Johnny May's comment? South African teams have unfair advantage because they are financially too strong. I think South Africa has depth, not a money thing. I mean, Johnny May, it's an interesting one because, of course, he's an experienced player, but sometimes they don't have the best opinions. I wouldn't say that South Africa have got a money advantage over some of the other sides. Depending on who you're facing, that is. If you say that they've got a money advantage over Leinster, then you're dreaming because they have got a budget that is just huge to be able to work with. Please, can you let the Bulls win? As I don't want to face the Stormers at Loftus, please. I asked nicely, says Marco. Johnny May is not girl, says Andre. And again, another scrum feed in this one. Financially too strong, never heard that before, says, I think it's just finding an excuse to try and feel better about losing. You know, they got beaten in every way almost in that game up against Sharks. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that money statement, says Marco. Crowd at the moment, absolutely loving it. Sorry, is a girl, says Andre Sullivan. Well, that kid's got a cast on one hand and a cast on the other. He's had a rough run. By the looks of that. Fear the Fin is a sign that we've just seen in attendance as well. Quite a few people celebrating with a popsicle. Booked the Grand Hotel in Wellington for the New Zealand YouTube Awards. Find a small room for Hamish. There's a Tony. Our Lions sneak into the top 8. Yeah, they're currently sitting in there. And as long as it remains the way that it is, they should be able to stay there right to the end. At the moment, tackles made 83 by the Bulls, 74 made by the Sharks. Pretty even in terms of the tackles missed numbers. Hamish, who's the New Zealand's brightest young talent, I'd probably say Peter Luckey's got to be up there at the moment with the way that he's been playing recently. That's a nice wide cut-out pass to Kane and Moody. Another good tackle has been made by the Sharks. Their defence has not been the problem in this game. It's just been their lack of awareness when it comes to their attack. They seem to be doing a lot of forward passes. Don't want to hear any cheering from the stadium. Go the Bulls. Says goal story, bro. Loose ball. Bulls able to clean it up there in the hands of a Forster. Martin Zima thought about the short ball. That's going to be another knock on in this game. Now Machunu. Bit of open space. Looks for the pass. It is rough. Doesn't quite find their hands. Playing your channel champ. How do they know your name is Tony? You're a big deal in New Zealand. He used to have his name as Tony before he changed it, is why we do know of him. Now up a Lily Farsi, puts the chip in behind, waits for the bounce of the ball, and it does sit up nicely for him. 15 minutes to work here, the Sharks. Get themselves at least 1 point from this contest for being within 7, if not maybe even causing an upset and getting themselves to win. That was a rough pass. Now it's taken well by Francois Fenter, playing at 12. Back in behind Masuku. Going across there to Fez Mbata. One more ball to James Fenter. And he's got some good acceleration. Knock on. But they'll go back for the penalty initially. In favour of the Sharks. Again, come on the Sharkies. If I Scott Robinson, I would blend in All Blacks, all the young players come 2027. The All Blacks will be cooked to perfection, says Manny M. Like they're saying, they just want to end on a high at the moment here for these Sharks, but they seem to really be struggling to get that last pass away. A little bit of an offside against Cumberland Hanekom. That's one game. Munster beat everyone in South Africa. I'm a Leinster fan. It's not supporting Munster, but they're always winning there. Low altitude, high altitude, doesn't matter. Hamish and me on first names. Now we get massive. We're getting massive. We wear disguises in public and all that stuff. No. I've only been recognised once in public as the Kiwi lads, and that was actually at a supermarket where the fella worked. And that was it, I believe, that I can think of. Which isn't a bad thing. Like, I'm from a small town as well, so like people who normally recognise you is because they know you rather than because they know you do YouTube. I want to see a perfect All Blacks team. That's my message to Razor. Well, I'm sure he's listening, Manny. Thoughts on Borthwick thinking about adding 4 South African expats being selected for England national team. I mean, if they're eligible, I guess you might as well. You know, not a new thing in rugby for teams to have players who are either born somewhere else or have eligibility to join a certain side. I'm so big, I can't go anywhere now. There's Tony. The Sharks still in possession, 14 minutes left. We don't want to see another knock on here, but we probably will get to see one. Big shot to Dylan Richardson. Across to the left-hand side, short ball from Apalele Fasti. In fact, no, sorry. Once again, Pepsi Butalazy. Now I hear cheering. Says, goal story, bro. A tackle made on Labaskachny. Now across, Masuku. Going out to Fasi again. Across to Fezembata. In fact, it was Quincy Mona. Big sell of the dummy. They're not going to quite make it through as of yet. This defence is strong from the Bulls. Masuku, though, quick hands out to Keita, who's looking for the try line. 10 metres out from the line now for the Cell C Sharks. Well, now they're called the Hollywood Bets Sharks. I like the Cell C Sharks better, to be honest. In terms of the name rolling off the tongue, Richardson finishes the job. And the Sharks get themselves the try. And the South African URC franchises are restricted to an annual salary cap at 85 million rand, about 3.5 million pounds. Comparison, the Premiership rugby clubs have a cap of 5 million pounds. So yeah, like it was just more of an excuse of, like, if he could come up with an excuse of why they lost. But at the end of the day, like, these South African players, some of them are just phenomenal. And the Sharks, they are a perfect example of that. They've got a lot of Springboks in their lineup, definitely for that game up against Gloucester, and it really helped them in the panicking situations to be able to keep calm and get over the line. Well done, Sharkies. F off, Sharks, says Johannes there. A great try coming for these Sharks. Now, there's still time left for a late tail in this tape, ladies and gents. Yeah, for audio, says it was there from Cool Story Bro. Just a 5-point game now between them if this kick goes over from Masuku. And come on, the Sharkies. If I stand Hamish wearing fake facial hair, he docks me first. He will pretend it's real now, says Tony. That one's gone over from Masuku. 19 points to 14. The Sharks are back in this game, and they have got 12 minutes or so. The Invincible All Blacks coming soon. Watch this space. A shame we have good players in Japan. No real coverage. We watch the highlights. Yeah, it is a shame that the Japanese top league doesn't get shown more here in New Zealand, just because I know that if it was, and in South Africa, like, you know, Damien Dialendi playing at the moment in Japan, some decent success. Sharks might be making a comeback and probably the best season for the Bulls. And go Bulls, says Johannes, but they're inside of their 22 now. The Sharks are going to try and bring it out. And like they've said, the unpredictable team in this season. Bradley Davids kicks it downfield, nicely taken by Villy LaRue, taken by Vernekoch. Across, Elric Lowe. And behind goes to Johan Goos, and that is another knock on from the Sharks. Or sorry, from the Bulls, I should say. And now they are inside of the 22. I'm going to kick this one downfield. And there's a very decent kick from Harold Foster. And also, England won't so much. But they are always looking for South African teams or South African players to bolster their team. South Africa only has South African players, makes you think. There's Andre there. And come, boys, come now. Sharkies play well, boys. And it's a shame we don't see much Japanese rugby. You know, Durban. I do know of Durban, yes. It's behind me at the moment. Vodacom Bulls, the way that it currently sits, the Bulls would be in second. Leinster would be ahead because, of course, the Bulls need to win this game by 10 points or more. The Sharks, ooh, that was close to a handling error there. But well handled by Bradley Davids in the end. Dylan Richardson, the man who scored the last try. And also we got that England want to take 4 South African players now. Sick no pride. Says Ritzema. Another run from Keita. Oh, that looked like it was almost a handling error from Shuka. And one day you're going to be live, Hamish, and report it as it happens. And signing out with Cool Story Bro reporting live. Says Denzel there. Trying to break through for Apollos. One of the newer names of the Sharks side, Diego Apollos. We haven't really seen him have too many minutes throughout this season, but due to the resting of certain players, it does give him the chance. The Bulls have got the clean turnover in the breakdown now with Francois Klopper. Taken down 45 meters out, rough pass. Another knock on from the Bulls. They're playing like a side that don't want to win this game. All Blacks up 2007. Never should have won their World Cup. And big bite, Sharkies come on now. Wide cutout pass from Masuku. Gets it away now. Into hands of Machunu. He wanted the offload. Bit risky. But it has gone backwards to Upper Lelefasi. And Durban is subtropic and Cape Town is Mediterranean weather. Says Ritzema. And the Sharks game says bad man. And there as well. Wanting the penalty. They don't get it. Now again, Masuku going to the short side to Upper Lelefasi. To try and cut back inwards. He's saying that he was hit high by Kane and Moody. For now, it is going to be a play on. Dylan Richardson, they're 25 metres out. How much time left? They have still got 8 minutes remaining in this contest. Quick hands out to Quincy Mona. In fact, this time it was instead Fizimbata. Tyrone Green will be bored. Nice run from Pepsi Buthelezi. Inside ball to Richardson. Bulls are under immense pressure here. Masuku. Here's a run. The ball's useless, says Bad MSN. As well, now another step. This looks like there is a Bulls player down and back play as well. I will see the Sharkies score now. Boys, you can do it. Says Colleen Watt. Now, the interesting thing is currently the way that it sits, the Bulls get themselves second on the overall standings. If the Sharks win this game, the Bulls will remain in 4th, and that would mean that we actually get to see the Bulls versus Stormers as the quarter-final. Now, that is going to be the penalty going the way of the Bulls there. A lot of nervous faces at the moment. In the stands watching on. The penalty does go the way of the Vodacom Bulls there. We're playing Sharkies. Score now, boys, you can do it. Says Colleen, not really. Cape Town, raining and windy and cold in winter. Says Brian, and come on the Bulls. Says bystander. A good run from Vincent Pijuka. And then Elric Lowe gets over the ball like he needed to win that penalty. Bulls are high up on the log, so let's watch this space. Says Denzel there. Now, they will be able to kick this one towards the touchline. Still another 6.5 minutes remaining in this game. Europe stealing our players like they stole our lives and gold and diamonds. Are the ones on the Queen's head go. The ball says Ritzema. Yeah, the way that it sits currently, they are on 65 points, the Bulls, with the live standings. If they can get one more try, they will actually climb above of Leinster and go into first just for now. But there is a chance that if the Bulls lose this game, like I mentioned, they will be in 4th. And that would make them go head-to-head with the Stormers in the next game. Bulls make the Sharks part of the Grass. The Bulls make the Sharks part of the Greys, I think that is. From Johannes Nonu, what a player he was. That's going to go into touch here for the Vodacom Bulls, I should say. I feel like the tiredness has really kicked in just in the last 1 minute or so, but I think that's also because I got something in my eye. That doesn't help. Anacha van der Merwe now, getting ready to throw this one in. If no Bulls wake up, says Bad MSN. And the Sharks says Rene. Or Rennie it might be, actually. My apologies. Now nicely claimed by Ruanokia. You have to wonder whether or not the Bulls knew that they had to win this game by 10 heading into it. They have got themselves the penalty advantage now. The Anacha van der Merwe goes off to Imbros Papier. And Dan Carter, the best play half ever, says a Manny M. Now Elric Lowe. Big shot again coming in on Francois Chlope on the halfway line. And Imbros Papier goes to Elric Lowe. He's in open space now. Pinning his ears back, the big man. 22 metres from the line. The Bulls, if they score once more, that will secure them the victory in this game, I would think, with only 5.5 minutes to go. But they've had so many handling errors throughout the second half. It looks like there was a little bit of a miscommunication there in terms of what way they were going to be going. Sharky score. Now that's the penalty going back for the Bulls on the halfway line. That is a large advantage that has just been in play. Bulls are like cows. So the Bulls, they are ahead by 5. They are in the situation here. Geez, that was a long advantage. But what I was going to say is if they get the kick over, they would be ahead by 8, which would win them the game. But the other side of things is if they want their bonus point, they kind of have to kick for the corner. Do you know the first world heart transplant was in South Africa? Yes, because someone told us a few weeks ago. The Bulls can't lose this game. Says Johannes. I went to look at Munster, lost more games than played. And Loftus is not a good field for them, says Marco. Now 22 metres out from the line. Chance here. Chris Smith onto the field. That is for Johan Goosen, who has made way. Don't mess this up, Bulls, says bystander. And that is going to be nicely claimed. They would love themselves the penalty advantage if it can come in here. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop them. The one's still going forward for Anacha van der Merwe. They're going very well here, the Bulls. Anacha van der Merwe. He just disjointed and then joined back up with the rolling ball, but it is going to be a new penalty advantage. Oh my goodness. Imbros Papier was just absolutely flattened by Machunu. That was one of the hardest hits we have seen in this game. And if I was, the Bulls just win. And yeah, now they've got the penalty. And Imbros Papier has been absolutely flattened there by Machunu. I mean, Papier, it's okay to stay down because he well and truly got him here. We're going to see the shot coming in here. Just lines him up, boom, into the midsection. And slams him to the turf. Big hits. He's been marketing agent for South Africa, spinning good facts for all the streams. Says bystander. Oh, that's a big shot. And the more times that we watch it, the more we realise how hard Imbros Papier was hit by that one. But the Bulls, looks like once again they are opting to go for the corner here. They want that first place, and it is fair enough. At the end of the day, it's not just about winning this game, but it's about winning the competition. And to be able to do that, their best chance is to have a home final if they make it that far. Nicely taken by Ruanokia. The Bulls rolling ball has been looking like the stronger of the two throughout this game. Here they go, running towards the try line. It's the try for the Bulls, and they will secure top spot for now. Until, of course, we see Munster versus Ulster, then that will determine if anything does end up changing. Are you allowed to cover any soccer matches? We haven't covered many in a very long time. That is for sure. And we have got, yeah, please, Bulls are big. So they have now got that bonus point that they were after. It means a lot to the side, of course. But now they have to wait to see how that game between Munster and Ulster goes, which is just around the corner. Silence is golden, says Gulsteri Bro, and score, says Marcel. At the moment it is 24 points to 14. So they are leading by enough here to have that points differential in their favour. But also, they did get their bonus point, which pretty much puts them to number one by an extra point anyway. And good game, says Blues Nate. And that's the thing, like the Sharks have still been pretty competitive throughout this contest, and I feel like that is actually a good thing for the Bulls. They would have wanted to have a hard-fought game up against the South African side. Yes, they might pick up a couple injuries along the way, but it's going to be a lot better off for their rugby heading forward in the playoff games now that they've had a bit more of a challenge. Ulster playing away to Munster. Going to be tough coming Ulster, says a bystander there. And thanks for another great day's commentary. Enjoy the break, says Arthur. So, of course, we are going to be back for the sevens later on tonight. The first one happening at about 9 p.m, I believe it is, New Zealand time, or 11 a.m. for you guys in South Africa. Chris Smith gets that kick over like he normally does. And stadium here nice and quiet. Yes, good. They would challenge Hamish, says cool story, bro. And no, good, love it. But yikes, you made me worry, shame on you. And also nice Bulls nerves, says bad MSN. And Pretoria in the forefront of small nuclear reactors in the world. Google Hashem, that is going to be now not travelling the 10 metres for the Sharks. They look to retain that ball to try and get quick fire points. But now the Bulls will have the option of going for the scrum on the halfway line. This will use up a majority of the remaining time. The Bulls on top spot for now, says Amorne. So yeah, there's a lot to happen in the last two games. We're going to get to see, first of all, the Ospreys try and get themselves a bonus point win over Cardiff. If they can do that, they will knock the Lions out of the top 8. Munster, they have got their game up against Ulster. If they get themselves a win in that game, they will knock the Bulls off the top spot. And I said they will go down to second. South Africa's biggest economy in Africa. And also, I want the New Zealand Kiwis to be able to beat the Kangaroos on a regular basis. And such a great competition. The top spots are right down to the wire, says Brian. Now, 35 seconds remaining. The Bulls, they would love nothing more than to have possibly a scrum feed. Yep, there we go. The scrum reset is coming for them. That will use up the rest of the time on the clock allocated. I love you live, all goods. All guys here are funny and good. No body swears, etc. Love you live. And the people on your live, says Marco. And yeah, we do appreciate you being here. At the end of the day, we've built up a really awesome community, no matter where you are in the world. You know, when you pop in and say hello, you're likely to get a few people saying hello back as well. You think New Zealand get up a league that can match the NRL? Definitely not, no. But that is the full-time siren that has just sounded here. So all Keegan Johannes has to do is put this ball in, get it out the back, kick it into touch, and that will end the day for the Vodacom Bulls. Oh, it's gone down. Oh, penalty to the Sharks. Little bit of a late change there. Looks like Masuku going to be looking for the touchline. He hasn't struck that one that well, has he? No. Going to be about 30 metres out from the line. Thank you very much for your great commentary, Hamish. See you later. Enjoy your rest. Thanks a million, Hamish, and thanks to all the subscribers for all the fun comments, says Brian. And always know the Bulls will win, says Wade there. And the Sharks going to the finals? They are not. No, they are missing out on the quarterfinals. At the moment, they are the only South African side outside of the top 8. But they are the only South African side at this stage with a trophy for this season. It's going to be the line-out throw for Fezambata. It's taken, knocked on by Tachuka, and that will end the game. 26 points to 14. The Sharks have been defeated in Durban, and the Bulls, for now, do have that top spot. But I do thank you all very much for being here for these live streams. We've got plenty more coming in the near future as well, ladies and gents, with the sevens taking place tonight. The game's not over. Now it is. And it is 26 points to 14. The other game that was taking place at the same time as this one, Scarlets versus the Dragons, has also come to a close. But Munster-Ulster kicking off in 12 minutes. That is going to be the important one. No, Bulls just won the South African Conference. There's Johan. Well, they are currently sitting at the top of the bunch. And it's whether or not Munster get themselves the win will determine if they keep their spot at number 1. But thank you all very much for tuning in. We are going to be covering the quarterfinals on the channel next week as well. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as the Super Rugby quarterfinals and some more sevens happening tomorrow on the channel as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. You're not covering Munster versus Ulster. We are not. No, we have got to try and sleep for about 4 hours before we have to go out for a family lunch. So that will be eventful. And then we've also got about maybe 10 hours of streaming tomorrow, possibly. Hopefully less than that, maybe about 6 to 8 hours. Looks like the Bulls are not cows today, says Denzel. But yeah, nonetheless, we do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one.